Hello and welcome back to Dance with Shaka Lee TV. I'm Shaka, I'm a heels dancer and movement artist, and I'm here to bring some movement to your day. So in today's video, we are going to be working on how to perfect an iconic heels floor work move that I like to call the Sexy Cobra. Now this may go by different names. You might know it as the dive down or a snake to the floor or something completely different. I like to call it the Sexy Cobra because that's what it reminds me of. A sexy snake-like move that takes you down to the ground. Now this move is challenging and it requires a lot of strength in three main places. Upper body, mostly in the arms, shoulder, and upper back. Lower back flexibility, yes, and an engaged core. So having those three things is really gonna help you perfect your Sexy Cobra move. So before we get into the move itself, I've created a little warm-up conditioning circuit to help strengthen those parts of the body to help get you ready for this move. So I'd love for you to clear a space on the floor. It's best to use floors with no rugs or carpets on them, and make sure they're nice and clean because we're gonna get all up on them. All right, are we ready? Let's go. All right, so we're gonna get started on the floor. Lie on your back. Yes, you can have your feet on the floor. We're just gonna find that neutral pelvis, neutral spine. So I'm going to take your hips all the way, tilt them forward. Yes, so kind of thinking about making that lower back space in between your lower back and the floor a lot bigger. And then tilting the pelvis all the way forward, minimizing that space if it hasn't already disappeared. And then tilt it all the way back. And go through this motion of tilting the pelvis forward and back like a big bowl of water. Yes, and then find a nice neutral position, so not too tucked and not too tilted. Yes? So when you find that neutral, we're gonna take our arms, we're gonna lift them all the way up overhead and glide them along the floor. Now your arms shouldn't touch the floor. We don't want them actually sweeping the floor per se. You wanna have them hovering slightly above the floor as we go around. Great, just one more like this. Nice. And we're gonna reverse the circuit now. Up and over. Remembering to breathe as you go through this motion. Nice strong arms, really feeling the connection coming from the back and the shoulder blades. Nice, and that last one there. Okay, bring your arms on the floor beside you, wherever is comfortable. And what you're gonna do is you're going to now think of tucking your pelvis like we just talked about. So letting the spine come towards the floor here, and then you're gonna slowly lift up through the legs, coming into a bridge. Yes, but we're doing it in an articulated way through the spine. Now you're gonna lower from, think about your chest, your upper back, lowering all the way down to your tailbone, coming back to the floor. Yes, you should be thinking about your vertebrae hitting the ground like one vertebrae at a time. So coming up just like that, you tuck your tailbone, you come all the way up nice and slow, breathing, exhale coming down. Think about picturing your vertebrae like a necklace of pearls, yes? So picking it up, yes, and then dropping pearl by pearl all the way down. And this articulation is really gonna help you in your Cobra position. So really try your hardest to find the spaces in between each of those vertebrae. Yes, instead of just lowering and rising like one big flat board. Okay, we're gonna go a little bit faster so we come rising up and dropping down. Again, just like that. But you don't want to go so fast that you're missing that articulation through the spine. Yes? Down and down, coming up and up. Down, down. Two more like this. Up, up and down, down, up, up. Last one, down, down. Nice. Okay. Great, now we're gonna bring in our legs, they can be bent, not a problem. Your arms are also gonna come up however you like, and you're going to do this thing called the dead bug, which is opposite arm and leg come out to almost touch the floor, but they don't touch the floor, and then they come back in, and then we switch. Yeah, so a little bit of a coordination, a little bit of balance. And what you really want to think of is using your abs and knitting them together. So you want to think of your lower rib cage right here and really coming in tight, yes? Not letting the ribs stick out, not letting the back come off the floor, and really like tightening in as you go through this. So we go down, yes, we come in, nice, we go down, other side, we come in, nice, we go down, we come in, we go down, and we come in. Nice. Keep it going for 2 more on each side. Yes. Yes. Nice and slow wins the race, always. This is going to help engage that core so you're prepped for core engagement in the Cobra. Nice. Okay. Letting it all rest down. You can come up to a seated position. All right. Great job. Nice. We are going to sit in this nice cross-legged position, however feels comfortable for you. We are going to take the chest. We're going to push it forward. Yes, like we are shining a beam of light from our chest out to the world. We're going to all the way come back to the back of our sit bones, rolling through, head comes down. Yes, this is another way to see me on the side. That you're really going to articulate through that spine as much as you can. Now that we're off the floor, see what your range of motion is in your full back, upper, middle, and lower. Yes, coming all the way through. Nice. Okay, we are going to come back the other way. So we are going to tilt forward. We are going to come rounding that spine, get push through the gut here, and then all the way, rippling up. Nice, coming through, good, all the way up to your neck and down, 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 coming all the way through, good, nice, always love to do it nice and slow. Okay, coming back to neutral, we're gonna now just take a nice side stretch all the way over. Nice, that feels so good, yes. Sink into it. Try not to let your opposite hip off the ground. Just feel nice and heavy here. Okay, other side. All the way over. Feeling so nice. All right, coming back up, take that head with your hand, pull it to the side, get a little stretch in that arm here, really feel it in your neck. So we're going to need our necks for this. And then take your head, tilt it down. Yeah, pull the back of the neck so you get a back of the neck stretch. And breathe. Other side. Hold on to that head. Stretch out that opposite arm. Really sinking that head in. And then tilt the head down. Get right nice into that armpit. Nice. Now let the head go and just little semicircles here. Nice and slow, nice and soft. Let your shoulders get into it too. Yeah, feel nice and heavy in the upper body. So just nice and soothing for the chest and the back. Yeah, and a little bit of that neck. Ooh, feels so nice. Okay, we're going to come back up with our head facing forward. Whew. And now we're going to do a bit more of a circuit for the neck so that we can really strengthen it. So we're going to look side to side. Nice, keep going. Now we're going to look ear to shoulder. Yes, this tilt, that's good. Now we're going to look up and down. Nice. Now all the way around, nice big circles. Nice and slow, 2 times. Nice, switching positions or directions. And 1 more. Good. Okay, coming up through neutral. Woo. Acclimatizing back to the world. And now we're just gonna stretch out our wrists because we're gonna get into some tabletop stuff, getting putting pressure on the arms and the wrists. So just stretching that out is gonna feel nice and good. Stretching the other way, palm down. Nice, and switching sides. And palm down. I like to also wake up the shoulders and the arms a little bit. So we're gonna do these like cactus arms. So think about your arms coming up and then only rotating to come down without moving your whole upper arm. Leave that where it is and just rotate and rotate and rotate and rotate. Nice, keep going. 4 more. Last one. Nice. Ooh, okay. Feeling warm and tingly. Okay, so we're gonna get onto a tabletop. So however you like to get there, set up in a tabletop mode. We are now first just gonna go through some nice gentle cat-cows, again, working with mobility in the lower back. So we're going to think of, first make sure that your knees are underneath your hips, yeah? And your shoulders are right over your wrists, yeah? Make a nice, good table for yourself. And so you want to think of your pelvis first. It's going to tuck, it's going to come into the back, and then your head is going to fall nice and gently. Then pelvis first is going to tilt, and it's going to raise your back and raise your head ever so slightly. And then think again, pelvis first, then your back, then your head follows. Pelvis first, back, and then head follows. Again like that, pelvis, back, head, and pelvis, back, head. Nice, one more like that, pelvis, back, head, and pelvis, back, head. Now this is nice, we're in a fluid motion here. We're just gonna take some circles in any direction that feels good for your body. This could be a hip circle, it could be a chest circle, it could be some circles with the head. Whatever feels good, go in a direction that feels nice. Yeah, get nice and juicy with it, and then switch directions. I like to think of like when your finger goes into a peanut butter jar or a Nutella jar or whatever jar it is, and it's really like looking around for all that goodness. That's kind of what you want your body to feel like right now in this move. Okay, coming to neutral, we are gonna dip our hips down. You might need to slide your knees away from you, and then coming up with the head into an upward facing dog. Your legs can be apart or they can be together, whatever feels comfortable here. Okay, we're gonna go into a little child's pose, just to have a little break before we continue. Resting into the floor, feeling nice and heavy here. Now, before we get into the next little bit, let's slide forward. Try to come onto our chest a little bit and keeping that booty up. Now, funny enough, this is a position that a lot of babies sleep in. And this is kind of getting our body used to what we're going to do soon in the Cobra. Okay, so my chest is not on the floor, but my head is on the floor. So whatever feels best for you in that position, that is totally fine. That's just a little warm up. Okay, so we're gonna get into a downward dog. So tucking those toes under, coming into a nice downward dog, stretching out the legs. Yeah, really walking through those legs, feeling nice here. Now we're gonna come forward into a plank. Yes, so adjust where your feet and your hands are if necessary. Coming into a nice straight plank. No booties in the air, yes, and nothing dropping or dipping, yes, so a nice sturdy plank. Nice, and we're gonna push back into a downward dog for a little break. All right, we're gonna come back to a plank, and this time we're gonna do some mountain climbers, so that will be your knee coming to your opposite elbow. So we go, 1 and 2. 3, 4, nice, 5, 6, 7, 8, and wait here. Pushing back into a downward dog. Nice. And we're gonna come do something like that one more time. So last time coming into your plank, this time you're gonna take each hand off the ground, touching your opposite shoulder. Yes? So we go 1 and 2, 3, 4. Nice. 5, 6, 7, 8. Ooh, that is tough. All right, ready? We're gonna get into a downward dog. Nice, that's your last one. Ooh. And then you can drop your knees to the floor and get into a full child's pose and rest because we are done our little circuit. All right, so now that we started with that little warm-up, we're gonna get into another conditioning circuit for the Cobra move. So I like to set up on a tabletop position to start. Now, the first thing you wanna think about for this move is, it's very counterintuitive, but you've gotta trust me. You're gonna put your head on the floor. Touch it right there. So you're gonna think of, I like to think of just above my temple, in between sort of the temple of my head and the top of my head, right in here. This is the area of your head that you want to put on the floor. Now I like to also take my hair down to do this. It's easier because I can actually put my head on the floor, use my hair, and I kind of don't get the floor on my head, if that makes sense. Either way, we know we're putting our head on the floor, we just have to get through it. So you're setting up in tabletop position, you're gonna put your head directly on the floor as close as you can to your body. Yes? So getting as close as you can to your body, and then your hands are gonna be in somewhat of a push-up position on either side of your body. You're gonna find where is best for you, but I like to put them right next to where my head goes down, and then I like to slide myself down, already immediately trying to arch that back and get that lower flexibility happening, putting weight into my head and my hands and my knees. These are your 3 touch points, and you're gonna slide through as much as you can, and then get to the point where your chest is on the ground and there's less weight in your hands, but your booty is still up. See how much space is in between my booty and the floor? That's what you want. Okay, perfect. So now we're going to just push through, straighten all the way up, come into a little bit of an upward dog, and pull everything back. Because before we're getting into the Cobra, we're gonna do this little conditioning circuit to really get you familiar with the moves and the muscles you need to work on. So again, from here, we dive down, touch your head to the floor, you come all the way, snaking through to your chest, leaving the booty up, then you press it down, you come up into an upward dog, letting that booty take you all the way back. Okay, 2 more just like this, yeah? Finding all the points. So head goes down, coming through onto the chest, weight into your hands, pushing up, coming back, and relaxing. Okay, one last time. You come down, come all the way through, push up, and back. Ooh, okay, you're starting to feel it. You're starting to feel your shoulders activating and really working through this move. So now that is half of the Cobra. We're gonna work on the other half of it now. So basically setting up the same way you were, you're going to reverse everything you just did. So you're gonna take your hands onto the floor. You're going to think about rolling up in your back. Yes, so it's nice and arched in this direction. You're gonna think of coming down with your hips, just like in that upward dog. Now this is the tricky part. You're gonna take your body onto the ground, and as it comes down to the ground, you're gonna start to shift up from the booty, yes? So pulling that booty up, and at the same time, you're gonna use your hands to push yourself back. Back, 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 onto those feet, okay? Here we go again. So we're coming, arch that back, round that back, come all the way into your upward dog position, lower to the ground. As soon as your chest and head makes contact, lift up the booty and push with your arms. Yes? All the way back. Yes. Okay, good. That little part pushing back with the arms is probably the hardest part of this move. I find that that's where I first got stuck when I tried this because I didn't have the right upper body strength. And so moving through this circuit is quite challenging, but it will help you so much. And you will actually be able to accomplish this move just by doing this a bunch of times. So we're going to do that 2 more times. Yes? So rounding through the back, coming to your upward dog, chest face on the ground, push through the booty, and all the way back. Last time, coming around the back. Yes, upward dog, face, chest hits the floor, and push back. Okay. All right, so I know that was a struggle. It can be challenging sometimes, but we gotta work through the sticky spots before we get into the fun, juicy bits, which is the Sexy Cobra move. So now that you've worked through it, let's do the move for real this time, yes? So you want to think, you can get into it from seated here, or you can get into it from tabletop, whatever you prefer. Your head goes all the way to the ground. You push through until you're almost all on the floor. Booty stays up, and then from here, you're going to reverse it, pushing back through the booty and coming up all the way to seated or back to tabletop if you'd like. So that's the move itself. Now that we've run through this conditioning circuit a couple times and we're really warm and ready, you can practice this as much as you like. All right, so now that we've gone through that little circuit, you really get to feel what the Cobra feels like. You can slap on some heels if you like. Again, it's a floor work move, so heels are absolutely not necessary. Maybe you're training this in heels, maybe you're training this in socks, or maybe you're training this in pleasers. Either way, throw on your shoes if you'd like. Again, if not, that's totally fine. Now, teachers love to throw their little spin on it, so you might see this move done with a little bit of variations, like, for example, one of the feet might stay up, yes? Or when you get here, you could switch feet, or maybe from here, you're doing a little booty pop, yes? Or maybe instead of coming down with two hands next to each other, sometimes we snake one hand down in front of us, letting us slide a little bit easier to the ground. And then we might not come out of it the same way. We might come all the way to the floor. We might come back. We might do something else and live on the floor for a while. But maybe we come up in the Cobra. So you can really pull the Cobra apart and use little bits and pieces of it. It won't always look like the same going down as coming up, but once you understand the mechanics behind it, you can do this in a bunch of different ways. Okay, so now I'm gonna show you my 4 big no-nos for this move. I see them all too often, and I'm gonna show you what they are. So the first thing is people love to avoid putting their head on the floor. I get it, it's not very fun. It definitely doesn't feel the best, but we know in dance that a lot of things don't feel great, but they look great. So I can tell you right now that avoiding putting your head on the floor is actually making this move so much harder for you, yes? A lot of people like to fake it. They just get here, and then they go down, and then when they're around here, they realize, oh my God, this is so hard. And then they kind of collapse, yeah? Or they push through, they go into the next move. But what's happening is you're basically just doing a push-up, which I hate push-ups, no offense, but they're not great. So what's actually happening is when you're doing the Cobra, you have 2 points of contact with your hands, you have 1 point of contact with your knees, and you should be having a point of contact with your head. So you have 4 points of contact on the floor, yes? And that's gonna make it a lot easier for you. You can divvy up the weight, you can put more weight into your head, you can put more weight into your knees, you can put more weight into your arms, depending on all the different things, and then push through. But when you're avoiding putting your head down, you only have 3 points of contact, and that makes it very hard. Yes? So you're making it so much harder for yourself when you decide not to put your head on the floor. Again, I know it's not the best, but you really just have to go through and do it because it's gonna look so much better and it's gonna feel so much better. Okay, the second thing I see a lot is people drop the booty too often, too soon. Yes, they get too far down. They think the Cobra is going all the way to here, and maybe it's just this little tiny booty. You really want to think of going a little bit shorter with it and sitting about here, trying to think about utilizing that lower back flexibility and pushing into the ground with your hands so you can keep your booty raised up, because this is so much more effective than this. This just looks like you're asleep. So, booty up. Always, always, always booty up. Okay, number 3, usually because people go a little too far and they drop the booty, I also see this happen. They get into the Cobra and then they cheat and they bring their knees away from their hands. Yes? Or they try to go too far into it and they get stuck here and then they drop from the knees. Yes? But The trick to this is you want to think of moving forward, down on the ground, forward like a snake. Snakes don't move backwards. I don't know if you've ever seen a snake, but they never move backwards. They're always moving forwards. So the trick to this is really using that strength, pushing all the way. And when you feel like you want your knees to drive back, that's where you should stop. That's the key. That's what's going to lift your booty and keep you nice, because I noticed in the last very moment here is where you should stop, but people think they keep going and then they drop from their knees, yes? And then sometimes I see people pick everything up from their knees and come up. That's, again, it's so much easier to bring your knees to your chest, but it's harder to push through your chest to back to seated. Now, some choreographers might choreograph this specifically for a reason, but coming into the move, if you've gotten no direction to do that specifically, I always think you should always move forward. Your knees should never move back for you. That's cheating. Okay, and then the last thing that I never, ever want to see is flexed feet. Your feet shouldn't be flexed. This is not helpful at all. This is not, you're not going anywhere. You are not shooting off. Yes, you are diving down and going all the way to the floor. But people think they really need to hold on to the floor with their feet like it's going somewhere. And so they drive their feet into the floor and they look flexed. But tell me how this looks. This does not look nice. This looks so much better. So remembering your feet, please, please, please remember your feet. Yes, you should always be driving the tops of your feet into the floor as you do this. Yes, keeping them nice and active all the way to the ground before coming up or getting out of it in another way. So those are the 4 things that I never, ever, 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 ever want to see in the Sexy Cobra move. All right, friends, thanks so much for watching this video. I really hope it was helpful for you to use some of these tips to make your Sexy Cobra that much better. I can't wait to see your videos of your Sexy Cobras looking really good, and tag me in them if you're excited and you want to show me what you've been working on. I would love to see it. I hope that you continue to come back to this video because there's some gems in here. Really working through that move can be tough, but it's going to make you super strong and looking so good when you go to do this move next. So thanks again for watching. I have many other videos on conditioning warm-ups, stretch routines that you can go watch here. And I also have amazing heels tutorials for you in my site located in the links below. So you can come dance with me and do some Sexy Cobras with me in class. I hope to see you on the dance floor.